So if you're thinking about moving north of Boston, you've probably heard a lot of the good stuff. The schools, the beaches, the historic downtowns, the access to Boston, and all of that is true. But every place has its trade-offs. In this video, I want to talk about 7 things that people absolutely love about living north of Boston, and 7 things that sometimes drive them a little bit crazy. Because if you're considering a move here, I think it's important to understand both sides before you start to back the moving truck. Hey, if you're new to this channel, my name's Michael Hinchliff, and I've been helping buyers, sellers, and people relocating throughout Massachusetts, New Hampshire, and Maine for more than a decade. My team and I help people make smart relocation decisions, and today we're talking about what it's really like to live north of Boston. Number 1, the location is incredible, and so is the traffic. Let's start with the obvious one. One of the biggest reasons people move here is the location. And within an hour or two, you can be in Boston, you can be at the beach, you can be in the mountains, on a lake, in New Hampshire, in Maine. You have so many options. And for a lot of people, that's really hard to beat. You can spend Saturday morning on the North Shore and Sunday hiking in the White Mountains or exploring North Conway. That flexibility is a huge part of the appeal. But the downside is that everyone else knows it too, and traffic can sometimes be brutal. But here's something that surprises a lot of newcomers. Just because a town is geographically close doesn't always mean that it's a quick drive. A 10-mile trip can sometimes take longer than a 30-mile trip. If you're relocating here, don't just look at Google Maps at noon on a Tuesday. Look at your commute at the actual time that you've been driving. Number 2, the towns have character and they're all different. One thing I love about this area is that every town feels completely different. Newburyport doesn't feel like Andover. Andover doesn't feel like Salem. And Salem certainly doesn't feel like Georgetown. Georgetown does not feel like Linfield. Each community has its own personality, its own downtown, its own vibe, its own culture, and its own pace. For buyers, that's great because you can often find a town that exactly fits your lifestyle. The challenge is that many people moving here assume that all North Shore towns are basically the same, and the reality is that they're not. And choosing the wrong town can leave you wondering why everyone else loves a place that just doesn't quite feel right for you. One of the biggest mistakes I see buyers making is focusing entirely on the house and not enough on the town. The house can change, you can make it be whatever you want, but the location can't. Are you thinking about relocating north of Boston? Well, I've got just the thing for you. My team and I have actually taken the time to create the ultimate relocation guide, which is meant to save you hours of research, and I've linked it down below. From top employers to the best hospitals and a boatload of other things that you need to know before making a move. The best part is that this guide is 100% free. That's right, you heard me right, it's just 100% free. So just click the link in the description or the top pinned comment. Hope that helps. Number 3, the schools are strong, and so is the competition. Many communities north of Boston have excellent public schools, and that's a huge draw for families. Even buyers without children often pay attention because strong schools tend to support long-term property values. But the downside is that everyone wants access to these communities, and that means competition. And we've seen this repeatedly over the last several years. The towns with the strongest reputations often have some of the highest demands. If rates continue drifting closer to that 6%, I wouldn't be surprised to see even more competition emerging in these communities. Hey, by the way, if you're finding these videos helpful, hit the like button and subscribe. Every week I create videos about buying and selling and relocating, and even living throughout north of Boston and southern New Hampshire. Now let's get into the one that catches a lot of people off guard. Number 4, the seasons are amazing. I talk about this one a lot. People move here and fall in love with the seasons. That's why I came here. Spring arrives, summer is beautiful on the coast, fall is spectacular, and then February shows up. Look, I'm just being honest. By February, many of us are ready for winter to be over. And this year especially, we had a lot of snow in February. The novelty is worn off, the snow isn't white and nice anymore, it's brown, it's no longer charming. And you're wondering why you own 6 different jackets. That said, the changing seasons are a huge part of what makes New England special. You get variety throughout the year that many parts of the country simply don't get to experience. And then every once in a while, New England reminds you who's in charge by giving you a 70-degree day in February and snow in April. Number 5, the housing has character, but that character requires maintenance. One thing many people love about north of Boston is the housing stock. You'll find colonials, you'll find Victorians and farmhouses and historic homes, houses built in 1700, neighborhoods with mature trees, places that actually feel established. But the challenge is that older homes often come with older systems. Older plumbing, older electrical, older foundations, and sometimes a never-ending list of projects. A lot of people relocating from newer parts of the country are surprised by this. The charm is real, and the maintenance is real too. Number 6, you can have more space, but you may need to move further out. One of the biggest changes I've seen over the last decade is how buyers are prioritizing location. 10 years ago, commute was often the most important factor, but today, many buyers are looking for more balance. They want enough house, they want enough yard, they want good amenities, and they want a reasonable commute, and a monthly payment that they can live with. That shift has pushed many buyers further north, further west, and even into southern New Hampshire. The upside is often more space and more value. The downside is that there are still only 24 hours in a day. At some point, distance really does start to matter, and the trick is finding that balance that works for you and for your family. Number 7, Logan Airport is closer than people think until you need to get there. That one always gets a laugh from my clients. One of the underrated benefits of living north of Boston is access to Logan Airport. Many people relocating from outside of New England assume that they'll be hours away. In reality, it's surprisingly convenient. Until it isn't. Because if you've ever tried to get to Logan during peak traffic, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Most of the time, it's easy. And then occasionally, it feels like the entire region decided to fly somewhere on the exact same day. So here are my final thoughts. What's the final verdict? I think north of Boston is one of the nicest and the best places in the country to live that I've experienced. I also think it's important to understand the trade-offs. The traffic can be real. The winter can be real, or it can be warm and there's no snow. The housing costs are real, but so are the opportunities. The schools, the communities, the access to everything that New England has to offer. The key is finding the town that matches your priorities, because there isn't one perfect town, just like there's no one perfect house. There's only the town that is perfect for you. So if you're considering a move north of Boston or into southern New Hampshire, or even Maine, my team and I help people navigate these decisions every single day. And whether you're moving next month or just starting your research and building your plan, we'd be happy to help you understand your options and find the right fit for your goals. If you already live here, I'd love to hear from you in the comments. What's the one thing that you love the most about living north of Boston? And what's the one thing that drives you absolutely crazy? See you next week.